My husband went to the bathroom, and his phone started buzzing on the nightstand. I saw it was a call from his younger brother, Zack. I frowned but decided to pick it up. "Hey bro, where is the $1,500 for mom and dad this month?" "Mom was just asking me about it," Zack said. The moment I hung up, my blood turned to ice. My husband, Jordan, was standing by the bathroom door. His hands were still wet. I forced a twisted smile and looked him in the eye. "You make $4,000 a month. $1,500 goes to the mortgage, you give me $500 for groceries, and you keep $500 for yourself. You told me you send your parents $500 a month. Since when did it become $1,500? His lips trembled but no sound came out. His face was ghostly pale. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. We had been married for 5 years. In all that time, I had never even seen his primary bank account. What else was he hiding from me? After that phone call, I stood frozen in place. For 10 minutes, my mind was a total blank. All I could hear was that $1,500, ringing in my ears like a siren. Last Christmas, I wanted to give my parents a $200 gift card. Jordan told me things were tight, and said we should wait until next time. I believed him. I even felt guilty for asking. My parents even comforted me, saying they didn't need anything, and that I should focus on myself. I never imagined that his idea of tight meant sending $1,500 to his parents every single month. "Stella, honey, listen to me." He stepped forward, trying to grab my hand. I shoved him away. My gaze was like ice. "Listen to what? Are you going to tell me Zack was lying?" Memories of the past few years flashed before my eyes like a bad movie. I remembered wanting a designer coat on sale, but hesitating for weeks before finally walking away. I remembered clipping coupons and obsessing over every cent at the grocery store. I would argue with the butcher over a few dollars just to make ends meet. And what was he doing the whole time? I looked at him with bloodshot eyes. My heart felt like it was being squeezed by a giant fist. I clenched my teeth so hard my jaw ached. He looked away, unable to meet my eyes. Zack just got married, and his wife is pregnant. Their expenses are huge. My parents said his salary is too low. As the older brother, I can't just watch them struggle. I thought they were right. We're brothers. We're supposed to help each other. I had to lean against the wall to keep from collapsing. It was so pathetic. I was working myself to the bone to build our home. Meanwhile, he was pouring our future into his brother's bottomless pit. How exactly is that $1,500 divided? I demanded. His lips moved a few times before he finally whispered the truth. $1,200 goes to Zack, $800 for his mortgage, and $400 for their living expenses. The bitterness I had suppressed for 5 years finally exploded. I slapped him across the face as hard as I could. "Is your brother a damn invalid? Does he need you to support his wife and kid too? What about me, Jordan? You give your brother over $1,000 a month, but you only give me $500 for our entire household. Am I a stranger to you? Is this how you treat your wife?" I thought of my parents' kind smiles. I felt like the biggest joke in the world. Tears streamed down my face. My voice was broken. "How much do you actually make every month?" $6,000. I snatched his phone and opened his banking app. After taxes, it was nearly $8,000. I let out a cold, sharp laugh and threw the phone back at his face. "You make $8,000 a month and you give me $500? What the hell am I to you, Jordan?" He didn't answer. His phone rang again. It was Zack. "Bro, you need to get over here right now." Jordan looked at me, his eyes full of conflict. "Stella, Zack has an emergency. We'll talk about this when I get back." He turned around and walked out, leaving me standing alone in the dark. I felt completely drained. But one thought became crystal clear. I was getting a divorce. He didn't come back until after midnight. He reeked of cigarettes and cheap beer. Like usual, he tried to wrap his arm around my waist. The moment he touched me, I bolted upright. Every cell in my body was screaming in disgust. "Don't touch me. You make me sick." Jordan gave me a pathetic, people-pleasing smile. "I knew you'd be in a bad mood. You probably haven't eaten, right? I bought some takeout from that barbecue place you like. Let's go eat." It was the same old routine. Every time we hit a real problem, he tried to distract me with cheap affection. My voice was dead. "I'm not like you. I can't just eat while my life is falling apart. When we got married, your parents said they had no retirement fund. They asked for $300 a month. That money never went to your parents, did it? It went to your brother from the very beginning, didn't it?" His smile vanished. He started fidgeting with his shirt. "When did you start paying his mortgage?" I pressed. He stuttered for a long time. "Since he bought the house for his wedding," he finally muttered. I already knew it, but hearing it out loud made my blood boil. I kicked him squarely in the shin. "Jordan, where do I fit into your plan? Tell me. Am I just the idiot who helps you raise your brother?" I remembered when Zack got married. His parents dropped nearly $100,000 for his down payment without blinking. I had felt hurt back then, but Jordan held me and whispered sweet lies. "Zack dropped out of school to help me finish college. I owe him. We have our own hands. We can earn our own way. I believed him. I used my entire inheritance from my grandmother, $50,000, and my savings. I put down the down payment for our house while he only contributed $5,000. And now I find out he's been giving money away this whole time. He suddenly fell to his knees and grabbed my hand. Stella, I love you. You know that. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't have married you. But I feel so guilty. Zack had such good grades, but he sacrificed his future for me. I can never repay that. My expression stayed numb. Guilt. Always with the guilt. For years, that guilt had been a boulder crushing the life out of me. But why was I the one paying the bill for his conscience? I pulled my hand away. The last spark of warmth in my heart went out. You've been paying him back for years. You took 5 years of my life. You're even. Jordan, I want a divorce. He froze. He clearly didn't expect me to actually say it. I didn't look at him. I grabbed my suitcase and walked out to the parking lot. I walked to my usual spot, but my BMW was gone. My parents had bought it for me as a wedding gift. I had seen it there this morning. I rushed to the building's security office to check the cameras. My skin went cold as the footage played. Jordan had driven my car away earlier that afternoon. A few hours later, he had returned in an Uber. My car was nowhere to be seen. I stood in the empty parking space, feeling my blood turn to ice. I dialed his number with shaking fingers. Jordan, where the hell is my car? I don't know how long I waited, but Jordan finally showed up. He rubbed his hands together nervously. Stella, I accidentally dinged it. It's at the shop getting fixed. I looked at his pathetic acting and shoved my phone in his face. I had pulled up the GPS tracker. Jordan, is there a single word that comes out of your mouth that isn't a lie? You gave my car to your brother without saying a single word to me. My parents bought that car for me. He immediately scowled as if he were the victim. What's that supposed to mean? Isn't my brother your brother too? He just needed it for a bit because his commute is long. It's just a loan. If my parents hadn't used his car fund for our wedding, he'd have his own car by now. We owe him this. His tone was full of resentment. I couldn't believe my ears. Even now, he thought the wedding gift was a debt I owed his brother. The rage made my fingertips tingle. He is not my brother. Jordan, I'm saying this for the last time. I want a divorce. If I don't see my car tonight, I'm calling the cops tomorrow morning and reporting it stolen. I didn't wait for his response. I hailed a cab and went straight to my parents' house. The moment I got there, I let it all out. Every secret, every lie, every dollar he stole from our future. My mom's eyes turned red. She pulled me into a hug. Oh honey, why did you carry this for so long? Just then, there was a loud knock at the door. I opened it to find Jordan and his mother standing there. His mother had a fake, sugary smile plastered on her face. Stella dear, why did you run back here over a little tiff? It's no big deal. Couples fight. I brought Jordan here to apologize. Jordan tried to grab my hand again. Honey, come home. I know I messed up. I looked at him with pure disgust. I told you, we're getting a divorce. And I want my car back right now. Jordan's face twisted. His patience snapped. The car. That's all you care about. I didn't realize you were so damn selfish and cold-hearted. It's freezing out. Zack needs to get to work. We're the older siblings. Lending him the car is the right thing to do. His mother chimed in. Exactly, Stella. You and Jordan are successful. Zack isn't. Honestly, you don't even drive that car that much. You should just sign the title over to Zack. He was looking for a new car anyway. Yours is perfect. It saves him the trouble of shopping. I was speechless. I had never met people so shameless in my entire life. Jordan actually nodded, looking like he agreed with her. Mom's right. Zack said even though it's a few years old, it drives well. You're his sister-in-law, just give it to him. My father, who had been holding back his temper, couldn't take it anymore. He lunged forward and landed a solid punch right on Jordan's jaw. Get out. You're a bunch of leeches. Get the hell out of my house. He slammed the door shut. We could hear Jordan's mom screaming insults and Jordan grumbling as they walked away. I leaned against the door, shivering. My mom wiped her tears, and my dad's face was grim. Divorce him. We're calling a lawyer tomorrow. Before we could even get a lawyer on the phone, Jordan was back. As my parents and I stepped out of the apartment building, he lunged at me. He threw himself on the ground and grabbed my legs. He started wailing so loudly the entire block could hear him. Stella, I'm sorry. Please don't leave me. My parents raised me in a small town with nothing. I just wanted to help them a little. Please, let's talk. I was trapped. I felt sick to my stomach. I tried to kick him off. Let go, Jordan. Stop acting. This is disgusting. The neighbors started poking their heads out of their windows. A crowd began to form. Seeing the audience, Jordan turned up the drama. Please, everyone, tell my wife to forgive me. I love her. I just wanted to take care of my elderly parents. Is that so wrong? The neighbors started whispering. She won't let him take care of his parents? That's cold. I've known that girl since she was little. I didn't think she was like this. So heartless. She'll get what's coming to her. I couldn't believe he was flipping the script like this. He's lying. That's not what happened. I shouted, but my voice was drowned out. Jordan kept going. Stella, I'm sorry I lied about my bonus. I just wanted to make sure my parents didn't starve. Please don't divorce me over this. With that one sentence, the crowd turned on me. Someone threw a carton of eggs. Then came the trash. My parents tried to shield me, but they got hit too. We were covered in filth. We had to retreat back into the house while people screamed insults at us. By that evening, a video of the scene was all over social media. The headline read, "Rich city girl bullying small-town husband for supporting his parents." The internet went wild. She's a monster. I hope her kids treat her the same way one day. Go to hell, lady. Someone leaked my phone number. I started getting calls every minute from strangers telling me to kill myself. My inbox was flooded with hate. Then they found our address. Packages started arriving. Dead rats. Photos soaked in red ink. Letters full of curses. They even sent funeral wreaths to my parents. We couldn't even leave the house. If we showed our faces, people would point, record us, or scream in our faces. Meanwhile, the mastermind behind it all started live streaming. He was making money off our suffering. I watched Jordan's face on the screen, acting like a wounded puppy. I clenched my fists. Fine. If you want to play dirty, let's go. I picked up my phone and called a contact. I have a massive story for you. Do you want the exclusive? The woman on the other end of the line was Rachel Morris. We had gone to college together. While I had buried myself in corporate accounting and financial auditing, Rachel had clawed her way up from local crime beats to become one of the sharpest investigative journalists in digital media. Her independent platform, Unfiltered Truth, had over 2 million subscribers and a reputation for dismantling viral fraudsters with surgical precision. Stella? Rachel's voice was crisp, cutting through the suffocating silence of my parents' living room. I saw the trending hashtag. I was literally about to call you. Are you telling me that weeping martyr on TikTok is your husband? He's my soon-to-be ex-husband, I said, my voice finally steadying. The trembling in my hands had stopped, replaced by a cold, calculating calm. And every single word out of his mouth is a manufactured lie. Do you have receipts? Rachel asked. No fluff, no useless condolences. Just the instincts of an apex predator smelling blood. I have 5 years of tax returns, bank statements, deed registrations, property transfers, and text logs, I said, looking over at my father, who was silently wiping dried egg yolk off the living room window with a vinegar-soaked rag. I built financial models for corporate mergers, Rachel. I tracked numbers for a living. I didn't audit my own marriage because I trusted him. But now that I've started digging, I have enough paper to bury him, his brother, and his mother 6 feet under. Good, Rachel said, her voice dropping into a dangerous electric hum. Because what he's doing right now is textbook digital lynching. He's monetizing your reputation. He just launched a GoFundMe for his destitute, struggling, small-town family, and it's already cleared $40,000 in 6 hours. If you want to fight back, you don't just deny it. You execute him in the court of public opinion. When can you get here? I'm already in the city for a conference. Send me your parents' address. I'll be there in 30 minutes with a cameraman and a forensic data analyst. 10 minutes after hanging up with Rachel, I dialed another number, Evelyn Cross. She was the managing partner of Cross & Bennett, the premier high-asset divorce and financial litigation firm in the state. Her retainer was brutal, but for the first time in 5 years, I didn't care about the cost. I still had $80,000 in my personal corporate severance and premarital investment portfolio that Jordan knew nothing about, money I had kept tucked away in an untouched index fund. Ms. Vance, Evelyn's voice came through the speaker, smooth and sharp as polished marble. I saw the news. My team is already drafting emergency injunctions. Evelyn, I said, my eyes fixed on the street outside where 2 teenagers were currently filming our front door with their smartphones. I don't just want a standard divorce. I want full forensic discovery. I want every cent of marital assets he secretly funneled to his brother clawed back under fraudulent conveyance and marital waste laws. I want the house, I want the car, and I want him penniless. Consider it done, Evelyn replied coolly. Send me the initial banking credentials. Let's see what your little martyr has been hiding. Rachel arrived through the back alley behind my parents' house, escorted by my father through the basement door to avoid the paparazzi and amateur sleuths camping out front. Within an hour, my parents' dining table had transformed into a war room. Laptops hummed, external hard drives blinked in the dim light, and stacks of Financial documents spread across the tablecloth. Rachel's data specialist, a quiet kid named Leo, was rapidly decrypting bank statements and scraping social media metadata. Stella, look at this, Leo said, turning his screen toward me. It was Jordan's primary checking account at Chase, the one he had guarded like Fort Knox for 5 years. My stomach churned as the transaction history scrolled past. His actual base salary at the tech firm was $7,800 a month after taxes. With quarterly performance bonuses, his annual income hovered between $115,000 and $130,000. For 5 years, he had told me he made $4,000. Out of that $7,800, he had transferred an average of $2,200 every single month, directly into Zack's checking account. Not $1,500. $2,200. There's more, Leo said, his fingers clicking rapidly. Look at the outgoing wires from 2 years ago. I leaned in. A lump sum wire transfer, $45,000. Recipient, Oakwood Escrow Services buyer, Zachary Vance. My knuckles turned white against the edge of the table. 2 years ago, Jordan had sat on the edge of our bed, crying actual tears, telling me that his company was undergoing restructuring and that we had to cut our grocery budget to $300 a month to survive. I had skipped dental checkups. I had mended my own winter boots with waterproof glue. And all the while, he had wired $45,000 of our marital savings to pay the down payment on his brother's 4-bedroom suburban house. Wait, it gets worse, Rachel interrupted, looking up from her tablet with a look of pure disgust. I just had a contact at the State University run a background check on Zachary Vance. What did they find? My mother asked, setting down a tray of coffee with trembling hands. Jordan's entire sob story, that Zack dropped out of college to work minimum wage construction so Jordan could finish his degree? Complete fiction. Rachel dropped a certified academic transcript onto the table. Zack was expelled during his sophomore year for running an illegal sports betting ring out of his dorm and assaulting a campus security guard. He didn't drop out for his brother. His parents mortgaged their small-town house to pay his legal defense and keep him out of prison. Jordan wasn't repaying a noble sacrifice. He was enabling a deadbeat criminal because his mother guilt-tripped him into believing Zack's ruined life was Jordan's fault for being the successful one. I stared at the expulsion document. A cold, hollow laugh tore from my throat. For 5 years, Jordan had weaponized that imaginary sacrifice to keep me quiet. Every time I asked for a vacation, every time I wanted to buy a new winter coat, every time I suggested saving for our own future child, he had brought up Zack's stolen youth. Zack gave up his life for me, Stella. How can you be so selfish? It had all been a scam. A multi-generational grift designed to bleed me dry, while keeping Jordan chained to his family's dysfunction. Leo, I said, my voice dropping to a whisper that made the entire room look at me. Can you track my BMW right now? Already on it, Leo smiled, pulling up the live GPS interface from the vehicle's onboard telematics. It's parked outside a luxury sports bar downtown. And look at this public Instagram story posted 20 minutes ago by a user named at Zack_Vance_official. Leo opened the video. The screen lit up. Zack was sitting behind the wheel of my BMW, one hand on the leather steering wheel, showing off a brand new gold Rolex on his wrist. His pregnant wife, Ashley, was in the passenger seat, laughing and holding up shopping bags from high-end designer boutiques. The caption read, "Big bro just bought us the whip. Hard work pays off. Living large while the haters cry." They're spending the GoFundMe money, Rachel remarked, her eyes flashing with venomous glee. The fundraiser Jordan set up this morning? The payout account is linked directly to Zack's debit card. They've already withdrawn $15,000 in cash advances. Wire fraud. Evelyn Vance's voice chimed in through the speakerphone, soliciting public donations under false pretenses across state lines. That is a federal felony. I looked at Rachel. How fast can you edit a full expose video? Rachel smiled, a predatory, dazzling grin. Give me 3 hours. Tomorrow morning at 9, when Jordan goes live for his scheduled interview on the morning talk show circuit, we drop the hammer. That night, I didn't sleep a wink. But for the first time in 5 days, the suffocating panic was gone. Instead, I sat with Evelyn on the phone, methodically filing every legal motion available under state and federal law. 1. An emergency ex parte motion to freeze all bank accounts associated with Jordan Vance, Zachary Vance, and their mother, Margaret Vance. 2. A formal grand theft auto report with the Metro Police Department for the BMW, backed by the original title in my name and the security footage of Jordan taking it without consent. 3. A complaint to the State Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division and the Federal Bureau of Investigation for Internet Charity Fraud. 4. A petition for dissolution of marriage alleging fraud, dissipation of marital assets exceeding $180,000, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. At 7:30 a.m. the next morning, the local precinct called. Ms. Vance? We have located your vehicle, the officer stated. It was pulled over during a routine traffic stop on Highway 9. The driver, a Zachary Vance, was operating the vehicle without the owner's registration. When officers ran the plates, the Grand Theft Auto flag popped up. Is he in custody? I asked calmly. He is currently being booked at the Central Precinct. He also had an open bench warrant for unpaid probation fees, and officers recovered $8,000 in undeclared cash from the glove box. Would you like to press charges? Press every single charge available under the law, officer, I said. And do not release the vehicle to anyone other than me. 10 minutes later, my phone began to buzz incessantly. It was Jordan. I didn't answer. Then came 3 text messages from Jordan's mother, Margaret. Stella, what did you do? The police just arrested Zack. He's your brother. You drop these charges right now or God will strike you down, you evil woman. Zack's wife is pregnant. She's having contractions from the stress. If anything happens to that baby, you are a murderer. Jordan is on live TV right now. You better answer him. I didn't reply. I walked over to the living room television, picked up the remote, and switched on the Morning Pulse, the city's top-rated morning broadcast. The television screen showed Jordan sitting in a sleek studio chair dressed in a wrinkled flannel shirt that made him look deliberately impoverished and broken. The lower third graphic flashed. Heartbroken husband speaks out. Rift over. Family care tears marriage apart. The host, a sympathetic woman named Brenda, looked at Jordan with genuine pity. Jordan, Brenda said softly. The internet has rallied around you. Your fundraiser has reached over $70,000. People are calling your wife cold and heartless. What is your message to Stella if she's watching right now? Jordan looked directly into the camera lens, his eyes welling with expertly summoned tears. Stella, he choked out, his lower lip quivering. I know we come from different worlds. You grew up in the city with money, and my family worked the dirt to survive. I never asked you to buy my parents a mansion. I just wanted to send my elderly mother $500 a month, so she wouldn't have to choose between insulin and heat. If loving my family is a crime, then I'm guilty. But please, don't let your wealth make you cruel. Come home. The live audience let out a collective, sympathetic sigh. What a wonderful, dedicated son, Brenda murmured, wiping a tear. Now we reached out to Dr. Stella Vance for comment, but her team. Suddenly, Brenda paused. Her hand went to her earpiece. Her expression changed from soft sympathy to utter, jaw-dropping shock. Folks, we have an unexpected breaking development, Brenda said, her voice turning completely rigid. Just 60 seconds ago, investigative journalist Rachel Morris released an exhaustive data drop across YouTube and Twitter regarding the Vance family, and we are seeing documents that completely contradict Mr. Vance's statements. Jordan's face froze on live television. What? Jordan stammered, shifting uncomfortably in his chair. Brenda, whatever she's saying, it's just my wife trying to smear. Put the graphic on the screen, Brenda commanded the control room. The studio monitors switched to Rachel's broadcast feed. The first slide was Jordan's certified Chase bank statement showing his true income, $128,400 per year. The second slide showed the 5-year ledger, $132,000 transferred to Zachary Vance. The third slide was the university record proving Zack was expelled for illegal gambling and assault, alongside the police report from 20 minutes prior, showing Zack's arrest in my stolen BMW with $8,000 in cash. And finally, Rachel's voice boomed through the studio speakers. Jordan Vance is not a struggling small-town boy caring for elderly parents. Is a corporate financial fraudster who gave his wife a $500 monthly allowance, while secretly buying his convicted brother a suburban home and a luxury lifestyle. And the $70,000 currently in his GoFundMe? It was linked directly to his brother's account to fund designer shopping sprees. The silence in the television studio was so heavy you could hear the air conditioning humming through the microphones. Brenda turned to Jordan, her eyes blazing with cold, professional fury. Mr. Vance, Brenda said, her voice dropping into an icy register. Is it true that you make over $100,000 a year while claiming poverty? That's private. That's out of context. Jordan sputtered, breaking into a profuse, greasy sweat. Is it true that your brother was arrested 30 minutes ago in your wife's car, with thousands of dollars from your charity campaign? Jordan looked at the red camera light, looking like a deer caught in high beam headlights on a dark highway. Stella, he whispered, his face turning an ash-gray color. Stella, turn off the internet, please. We have to cut to commercial, Brenda announced bluntly, not even looking at him. Security, please escort our guest off the premises. The screen snapped to a commercial break. I sat on the couch, leaned back against the cushions, and took a long, slow sip of warm coffee. The storm had broken, and the lightning had struck right where it belonged. Within 2 hours, the internet went from a howling lynch mob against me to an apocalyptic tidal wave against Jordan. The hashtag Jordan Vance fraud hit #1 worldwide on Twitter. The comments under his social media pages were brutal. This man made his wife mend her own boots while he bought his deadbeat brother a BMW. He stole from his wife and then cried on TV to scam strangers out of $70,000. Put him in federal prison. Look at the mother's text messages. The whole family is a pack of parasites. I donated $100 to his GoFundMe because I felt bad about his mom's insulin. I want my money back and I want him arrested. By noon, GoFundMe officially suspended the campaign, froze all funds, and issued an automatic refund to every single donor, while filing a criminal fraud referral with the district attorney's office. At 1 p.m., Jordan's employer, Apex Cloud Solutions, released a public statement. Effective immediately, Jordan Vance has been terminated from his position as senior technical lead following an internal audit revealing violations of corporate ethics and financial integrity policies. He had lost his job. He had lost his public reputation. He had lost his charity scam. And my legal team was just getting started. At 3 p.m., a frantic, desperate banging erupted at my parents' front door. I walked to the foyer, motioning for my father to stay back, and looked through the security camera monitor. Jordan was standing on the porch in the pouring rain. His flannel shirt was soaked through, clinging to his shivering frame. His hair was plastered to his forehead, his eyes wild, hollow, and rimmed with red. He looked completely unhinged. "Stella," he screamed through the door, his voice hoarse and cracked. "Stella, please, open the door. They fired me. The police are looking for me. They're saying I committed wire fraud." I opened the door, leaving the heavy steel security gate locked between us. Jordan lunged toward the iron bars, gripping them with white knuckles. "Stella, honey," he wept, tears mixing with the rain streaming down his face. "You have to tell Rachel to take the video down. Tell the police it was all a mistake. Tell them Zack had permission to drive the car. If you don't, Zack is going to prison for 5 years, and they're going to indict me for the fundraiser." I looked at him through the bars. I didn't feel rage. I didn't feel hatred. I only felt a profound, absolute disgust. "Why should I lie for you, Jordan?" I asked, my voice calm, level, and ice cold. "Because we're married," he cried, dropping to his knees on the wet concrete porch, just like he had done days ago when he staged his theatrical performance for the neighbors. "Because I love you. I made a mistake, Stella. My mother. She kept pressuring me. She told me I had to take care of Zack, or I was a bad son. I was trapped." "You weren't trapped," I said softly, stepping closer to the mesh. "You made a choice every single day for 5 years. When you looked at my worn-out shoes, you made a choice. When you refused to give my parents a $200 Christmas card, you made a choice. When you gave my car away behind my back, you made a choice. I'll pay it back." Jordan sobbed, banging his forehead against the iron bars. "Every single cent. I'll sign the house over to you. I'll give you everything. Just don't destroy my life." "You didn't build your life, Jordan," I replied. "You built a parasitic empire on my back. And now the host has walked away." I pulled an envelope from my pocket and slid it through the mail slot, letting it drop into his lap. "Those are the divorce papers, the asset freeze order, and the summons for fraudulent conveyance against your brother and mother. See you in court, Jordan." "Stella." "No, Stella." I closed the heavy wooden door, turned the deadbolt with a solid, definitive click, and walked away from the sound of his screams. The courtroom on the 5th floor of the county family courthouse smelled of old wood floor polish and the cold reality of legal consequences. Judge Harrison, a no-nonsense woman in her late 50s with a reputation for mercilessly shredding dishonest spouses, sat behind the bench, reviewing the 4-inch thick binder of forensic accounting Evelyn Cross had submitted. Jordan sat at the defense table, wearing a cheap, ill-fitting suit he had bought off the rack. He had no private attorney. His firm had dropped his legal defense insurance, and the city's top lawyers had refused to touch him after the media firestorm. He was represented by an exhausted, overworked public defender. Behind him sat Margaret and Ashley. Zack was absent, currently sitting in the county jail awaiting his bail, hearing on grand theft auto and probation violation charges. "Mr. Vance," Judge Harrison said, looking over her half-moon glasses at Jordan, with an expression of pure, unadulterated contempt. "In my 22 years on the bench, I have rarely seen a more egregious, calculated, and malicious pattern of marital dissipation Jordan kept his head bowed, staring at the desk, his hands trembling. You hit over $300,000 in marital income, the judge continued, her voice ringing off the oak-paneled walls. You secretly transferred $84,000 to your brother, used $45,000 of marital funds to purchase residential real estate in his name, and stole your wife's premarital vehicle. She turned her gaze to Margaret and Ashley in the gallery. Furthermore, the court finds that the transfers made to Zachary Vance constitute fraudulent conveyances under State Statute 42. A judicial lien is hereby placed on the property located at 742 Elm Street, the home currently occupied by Zachary and Ashley Vance. The property will be sold at public auction, and 100% of the proceeds, up to the amount of $89,000 plus statutory interest, will be returned directly to Dr. Stella Vance. Ashley let out a loud gasp from the second row, bursting into furious tears. Where are we supposed to live? I'm having a baby. You should have considered that before living on stolen marital assets, ma'am. Judge Harrison snapped, banging her gavel once. One more outburst and you will be held in contempt and join your husband in holding. Margaret looked like she was about to faint, clutching her purse to her chest, glaring at me with venomous, impotent rage. The judge turned back to Jordan. As for the marital residence, Judge Harrison ruled, Dr. Stella Vance contributed the entire $50,000 down payment from her separate inheritance. The home is awarded solely to Dr. Vance. Mr. Vance will execute a quitclaim deed within 48 hours. Your Honor. Jordan's public defender attempted to speak. My client is currently unemployed and facing significant criminal exposure. Then he had better find a job at a gas station, counselor. The judge cut him off without missing a beat. Because I am also entering a judgment of restitution against Mr. Vance in the amount of $112,000 for dissipated funds, along with full responsibility for Dr. Vance's legal fees totaling $34,000. Court is adjourned. Bang. The gavel fell. The 5-year nightmare was officially legally over. As we walked out of the courtroom into the bright afternoon sunlight on the courthouse steps, Margaret and Ashley ambushed us. Stella. Margaret shrieked, her face mottled with purple rage, lunging toward me before Evelyn Vance's private security guard stepped firmly between us. You ruined my family. You took my son's house. You put my baby boy in prison. You're a witch. You'll burn in hell for this. I stopped on the marble stairs, turned around, and looked at the woman who had spent 5 years treating me like an unwelcome mate in my own life. Margaret, I said, my voice steady, resonant, and completely devoid of fear. You spent 30 years raising your sons to believe that the world owed them a living. You taught Jordan to lie, you taught Zack to steal, and you used your guilt to turn both of them into monsters. I looked past her to Jordan, who was shuffling down the steps behind them, his shoulders hunched, his eyes vacant and dead. I didn't ruin your family, Margaret, I said softly. I just stopped paying your bills. I turned on my heel and walked down the steps to where my BMW, freshly detailed, spotless, and running smoothly, was waiting at the curb. My parents were sitting in the back seat, smiling through tears of relief. Rachel was standing by the passenger door, holding 2 iced coffees. She handed me one and gave me a massive, triumphant hug. Where to, boss? Rachel grinned. I opened the driver's door, slid into the clean leather seat, and gripped the steering wheel. For the first time in 5 years, the air in my lungs didn't feel heavy. The knot in my chest had completely dissolved, replaced by a vast, boundless expanse of freedom. First, we go to the bank to deposit that court order, I said, putting on my sunglasses and shifting the car into drive. And then I'm taking my parents to Hawaii for 2 weeks. I pressed the gas. The BMW surged forward, leaving the courthouse, the screaming leeches, and the shattered remnants of a wasted past far behind in the rearview mirror, disappearing under the clear, wide open sky.